welcome, Willie Moore the Third. I'm glad to have you up in here.
Oh man, I appreciate you for having
me,
brother.
The best for first.
No, man, I'm nobody.
Man, so I haven't seen you in like 2 years.
Yeah, it's been.
We
a
go
long
way
time.
back,
way back, like an old Cadillac.
Yeah. So what the hell have you been up to in these last couple of years, man?
Man, life brings along a lot of changes and different things. So for me, man, I just been trying to survive and stay alive. I mean, these last couple of years, I think we all can attest that it's just brought all types of uncertainty, COVID, all that kind of stuff, man. But it actually puts you in a place of that you never been. You have to do things that you never done to survive. And man, just trying to create music and create peace, create love, create happiness, spending more time with family, creating music over these last few years, or last couple years, as we should say, and playing and that kind of thing, and digging more into the music and the music business and the industry. And so that's about it for me, man. What about yourself?
Man, again, trying to stay alive, but just doing the Berkeley thing for a minute, living up in Boston and, trying to make connections, trying to play out, trying to figure things out. What's funny, and we'll kind of go backwards and then come back to modern day. But what's funny is, thinking what you want to do when you're younger and then getting to the point where it's time to do that when you're an adult. And the whole landscape around you's changed.
Absolutely.
Everything's so different. When I was a kid, I wanted to sell records and to play shows. Now you got to do so much other extra shit.
Yeah.
To make a living. So it's way different. But you have a unique story. So let's go back. For those that don't know, let's go back to you growing up. Obviously, you're from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
And kind of explain to us your story. Starting out, how you got into music, that kind of stuff.
Well, of course, like Zack Gibs just said, I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised here. At the early age of, let's start from the very beginning. I remember, growing up, you can only remember kind of go off of based on stories at an early age because you don't know, but you know what you know. So I do remember and recall, going to bed at an early age and my mom basically, telling me, she would play the symphony at night and, instill that music in me and, ask me what instruments are playing, that whole type of thing. So music was kind of like being developed and instilled in me. And then I do remember at that time, at an early age, her buying me a Fisher-Price drum set. And there was a place once upon a time here called the Jacksonville Landing. They used to have bands out there. It takes my Fisher-Price drum set out there, play, and I remember people would leave tips. So music was being developed at an early age. Now, and I remember also, at the time before I really got into guitar, I would always see guitar and want to strum on it. I remember at the time I didn't know what a pick was. I would pick the guitar up, strum on it, and my thumb and my fingers would have blisters on them because I would play so hard. And I was just always fascinated with music, and never forget, around the age of 7 or 8, I never forget this here. I don't really think in Jacksonville, I don't know how many is left, but I remember there was a place called J.C. Penney. That's where my first guitar came from. They used to have a catalog, and it was a guitar that came out the J.C. Penney catalog with the amp. It was a little amp.
We're getting
that's
old.
Called a combo.
We're getting old when you said a guitar came out of a catalog.
Yeah, catalog. J.C. Penney catalog. That was my first guitar. I don't know if that was for Christmas or my birthday, but my dad got that. I remember that. And then, of course, I grew up. I was raised in the church, and I remember there was a guy by the name of Cassius Wallace. He was a guitarist there, and I remember one night at my dad's house, I got out the shower, and I didn't know I was getting a private lesson. I just got out, and this man was sitting in my living room. My dad booked me a private lesson. It's one of those things, you got to have support from your family to see the vision, even before us as children see the vision. And, that was something my dad saw. I didn't ask for the lesson, but like I said, I started taking my private lesson, like I said, around 7 or 8, and then at that time, I wasn't as in love with the music as I am now. It took a minute for me to fall in love with it. But I loved music. So, around that time, I took my private lesson. So we talking elementary school then. So, I mean, I still dabbled around with other stuff. I remember I got a trumpet. I don't even know why I started playing that. Took trumpet. Well, no, I ain't take no lessons, but I played in elementary school in trumpet. And then now I think once I got in the middle school age, that's when I had to make a decision. That's when I really started to turn and fall in love with it. So I went to La Villa School of the Arts, and I was under the direction and leadership of Don Casper at that time, you know, in my middle school years. And I was so blessed and fortunate to be able to, some people might be upset about this, but I was fortunate enough for somebody to be able to see what was in me. And for other reasons, you know, too, as well. Like I didn't really have to do the classical and nylon thing, and I was able to get away with playing jazz charts and learning the music and the history of playing jazz guitar. And so I did that 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And that's when I really started to fall in love and develop a tone and a sound. I think, you know, once I really got to middle school and I got hungry for it. And from there, of course, I went to Douglas Anderson School of the Arts under the direction and leadership of Don Casper as well. Graduated from there. And, of course, I spent some years at Berkeley as well. But I kind of just gave you my whole kind of like just timeline of how I fell in love with music, where it started at, where it came from. Of course, as a child, being instilled in, you know, with just being instilled with it from my family. Growing up in the church, hearing that organ and all the bands, you know, that whole band sound of and you'll hear me say this a lot. For us, you know, with me and you both, you can't you could teach the blues all day you want if you want to, but it's gotta be in you. And for me, I'll be honest with you, I never took no blues lessons or anything like that, but that sound from the church, that organ sound, that preaching sound, that's where it come from. That's the blues for me. That's where I learned it at. So all that being instilled in me, my lessons, my private lessons, what I learned in school, all of that is developed in my sound today. So, you know, as you said, of course, I was raised here in Jacksonville, Florida, but, you know, I've been blessed to take my talents other places as well, spend some time in Boston, but that's pretty much a little bit of my history, you know, where I come from, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so let's go back for a second. So you got a drum kit, a drum set. Mm-hmm. You were going out to the landing in Jacksonville, and you were playing for tips, and people saw that you had, you know, a gift and an idea.
That's right.
And, you know, you picked up the guitar after the drum set?
Yeah, okay. That was after the drum set, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And people might not know, you're actually a really good drummer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do got a picture. That's right. I was playing behind you. That's right. That was at Douglas Anderson. I sure was. I can't even remember the song we played.
I don't either, but we did something, and you played drums, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was. We got a picture.
Yeah.
At Stay Tuned Studios. That's right.
So we kind of crossed paths, I think, our freshman year.
Yeah, it had to be.
I think it was our freshman year. We crossed paths, and I remember meeting you and going, "Oh, there's somebody who gets it."
Yeah,
you know, because I didn't go to La Villa, so you went to La Villa. You know, was the middle school,
right?
And then Douglas Anderson's like the high school, and they're connected art schools in Florida. And I didn't go to the middle school, but I went to Douglas Anderson, the high school,
right?
And I met you. I think I saw you freshman year play because I think. During our orientation, I think everybody had to play.
Yeah.
No offense to the rest of the class, you know, but most people that were there, I was like, okay, what the hell is this?
Right.
And so, but then I heard you play, and I was like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And, you know, you kind of got me hip to certain things like George Benson.
Absolutely.
And some of the gospel stuff. And we talked about John Mayer.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember you came in one day because we had a locker room.
Yeah, we sure did.
And you were singing Waiting on the World to Change. And I was like, yep, there we go.
Yeah, I remember that, too, because I remember you really turned me on to John Mayer. Because to me, it was like you studied John Mayer. You had that whole John Mayer tone. Like, you just had it. Like, you know, the chord and all of that kind of stuff. And, you know, you took me to my first John Mayer concert. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, there's a saying, you really don't find too many people that have that it. You know what I'm saying? But I respect all different styles and genre, man, because it's an art to it. I remember at our school, we had all types of guitars. I mean, some that really stud classical, but we was in an electric guitar class, so we really got to see where their mind was really at. Like, were they a rock player? Were they a shredder? Were they just
neither?
All about, classical. But I remember we used to do certain shows. There were different little rock bands. I was like, man.
And that's kind of how we became like close, is through. So in our high school, we had these talent shows. So our high school, our gym there was a big stage.
That's
in the middle of the gym. So we weren't really doing normal high school shit. And there was a bunch of talent shows throughout the year.
Yeah.
And we became close through guitar class, and I was like, okay, cool. Like somebody, gets it.
Right.
And you were doing a talent show, and you were like, you should do something. And we ended up doing something. I think it was it Michael Jackson? I think we did a Michael Jackson song.
Oh, probably. What was it? Human Nature? Or
yeah,
something? It had to be, because I don't see us doing nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever played live in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
And I just remember you had so much swagger. You were so calm, and I was like, holy shit! I was like freaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
And you were like, don't even sweat it, you know. And that rubbed off on me.
Yeah. You just gotta do your thing, man. And our school was, like you said, it had that stage, and it was just, it had its pros and cons, But I will say, if you didn't learn how to be in front of a crowd there, you just, I don't know, you missed it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that was the place to really build that stage presence. You know what I'm saying? Because there was numerous opportunities there for it, and
you weren't gonna get booed off the stage, which was nice. We were allowed to suck. You know, like I would hate to go back and watch any of those performances.
For one though, it wasn't like you could just get up there. We had to audition to get in everything. So it wasn't just like you gonna sign up. You had to audition to get in it. So it was always great talent there. So.
But it did give you the freedom, it gave me the freedom to kind of play around with what I wanted to do, Was it only instrumental music that I wanted to make?
Build your ideas and everything like that. So, those were the times that we actually got a chance to kind of do our thing. Because, guitar class and stuff like that, you was kind of structured on what you could do. So that gave us the opportunity to, be us.
Yeah.
Play what came from us, from our hearts, from our souls. You know what I'm saying? So those are opportunities that we really, we got to be thankful for and cherish, because, everything else, yes, they always say you learn the rules so you could break the rules. So, we was learning the blues you can use and all of those kind of things. And, we got to take it for what it was. But those opportunities, what it was, Kaleidoscope.
Yep.
And it was
like a Noodle-Rama. They were crazy names.
Yeah, those were the names for the talent shows.
What a crazy idea. I think Noodle-Rama was one. Sam, was it Noodle-Rama?
Cabaret was one.
Cabaret.
Okay, Cabaret.
Yeah,
but Noodle-Rama, though, was the craziest, because it was a talent show in a gym, in a sweaty gym with a makeshift stage on it, and they served noodles. That was like the idea that somebody put together. Yeah,
because I remember the Kaleidoscope joint.
Yeah.
Because I remember that one.
Yeah, there was a couple,
Cabaret,
but that's how we kind of we ended up kind of always being in that same kind of circuit.
Right.
And you showed me kind of how to lead a band.
Yeah.
How to put a band together.
Yeah.
And
then and I remember us doing I guess it was, I'm not sure what it was, but you remember we used to always do the thing at the like an Irish pub.
Guitar thing.
Guitar night. What was it called?
Do you know what it was called, Sam?
Something Street. European Street.
Yes.
Yeah. We got a chance to perform together there too. I don't know what that event was called, but yeah, we got a chance to do something there. So it was almost like, man, whenever we got a chance, we always did something together. We always did, because we had that match, that vibe. Like, it was nobody else that I was gonna call to be like, hey, you want to play with me? Nah, that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
We was that duo, because we had that, like you said, that vibe, that match, that style, that swagger on the guitar that people could actually feel. You know what I'm saying?
And that was a good, learning lesson too for the both of us. Like whenever it was your thing, because we'd always do two things. We'd do one thing for me and then one thing for you.
Yeah, right.
And it was a good thing to like be the front man and then also be kind of in the back, Right. And that taught me a lot. Mm-hmm. But those memories, that really started. That was like a springboard to kind of jump off for me to like do songwriting and work on that kind of craft. And so, when I say we go way back, we go way back.
Way back. Yeah. You're talking 2011,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember one of the tunes we used to love to do too was that because we heard, I think John Mayer used to do this with the trio, Steve Jordan and Pino Palladino. Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. Man, we used to play the heck out that joint.
I don't know how many times we played that.
We played the heck out of that one.
Yeah. But good song,
Yeah, I mean, couldn't go wrong with it,
We get the horns in it and everything. Yeah.
So, those are, I mean, you got to cherish those moments. Just like, I don't know. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I don't know if I'd do my whole 4 years, but but I'll take some of those.
There was some good instances.
Yeah. I think out of all of them, I'll probably take freshman year and senior year. Leave the other two
Leave the middle out.
Yeah. But I talk about you all the time, man. I tell people, I'm like, man, that freaking Zack Gibs. You just had a personality. Man. It was funny, man. It was like, Zack, it's like you ain't have a care about nothing. Like, you lived your life like everything's going to be all right.
Always late.
Always late with Chick-fil-A. Like, yeah, I'm late. I'm late. And this is why I'm late. I woke up late, and I sat in the line at Chick-fil-A. So
that's a good point. I wanted to talk to you about this because, I've been recently kind of disillusioned with school, and learning.
Right.
And you're kind of one of the only other people that I've ever met who got it really young, who got it. Like you didn't, jumped off the ideas and you honed it in, but you got it. Like when I met you, nothing's really fundamentally changed since I met you as far as like your passion, the feel that you have on the guitar.
Right.
Nothing like that's only gotten better, but you had it, when I met you when you were 13. You know what I mean?
Right.
So at school, I was always, and even now, I'm always a little like rebellious in the way of like, I don't know that the music that I want to make can be taught to me. And I always felt like I was learning things, good things, arpeggios, scales and stuff. But the real thing that I wanted to learn, I never found that I got it, especially in high school. I felt like I was being talked at and not like, let's explore the ideas.
That you,
Yeah. Like we never went over like a B.B. King solo,
or
anything like that.
Right.
And so did you ever run into that? Like, in college or even in high school, because you didn't have to take classical guitar in high school, which that was a good thing,
right? Well, so my story probably isn't the same as yours, like you say, because for one reason I didn't take classical. All I took was electric. But I definitely understand when you feel you're, not basically exploring what's inside Zack Gibs.
Mm-hmm.
It's, here's what I want you to learn. This what you gonna learn. And I don't really have a reason why you're gonna learn it. You're gonna learn it because you have to learn it.
Yeah.
Like, I really, that's not my story. I wasn't blessed, but the style and that jazz and blues, because that's the direction I was going. I was just blessed to be able to, it's certain licks, if it's not, it's probably at least one that I still remember that, I got from what I was taking, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of that, it was just building on top of what I already knew, that kind of thing. But I get totally where you coming from. You know what I'm saying? Your thing is, how can you help me pull out of what's in me? You know what I'm saying? How can I be creative in the way that I want to be creative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now you got the cats that's like the Eric Gales, for example, that'll take a Bach or a Mozart tune and turn it into blues and kill it. You know, but
That's a great point, though.
you have to have that person that'll, you know, be like, hey, Zach, this is what you can do with this. Because this is who you are. This is what you can do with this. But you have to have that person that see, you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think school, though, always felt to me very confining, you know?
Right.
Until I got into, there was one class in high school that I took, and I was like, this is the class for me. And that was the recording class.
Yeah, I knew that was what
with
you're going to say.
Howler.
Tom Howler,
Yeah. That class changed everything because it
Yeah.
was like, he would come in and say the most random, spaciest thing, and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, I like that.
Yeah, that Tom Holland. Now, I didn't get a chance to take that class, but I heard a lot about it. Got a chance to see him and stuff like that. I always wanted to take it, but never did. And I think I could see why you like that class because of the guy who you are now. The whole studio vibe. It probably at that age was like, this who I want to be at.
Yeah.
This that creative space that I want to be at. You know what I'm saying? I could see myself literally spending all night. That light bulb probably came on. Even if it wasn't the most, you know, advanced thing or class you could take, but it was just like that creative space and that moment of being in that space of like, you know what I'm saying?
The possibilities were endless.
Yeah.
And I've never been the kind of person that can sit down and learn a piece of music like note for note.
Yeah, verbatim.
Sitting right there, I'm like, God.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I look back now because we've had a couple years since high school, you know, to really more than a couple years to think about.
Yeah.
To think about it, and
we about to roll up on 10, quick.
And I think about it, and I'm like, holy shit, like that was such a fundamental like part of, you know, who I am and my existence. And you play such a key role in that. And I'm glad you're here for the first podcast.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, we go so far back.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
We went to Berkeley at different times. So you went to Berkeley kind of right outside of high school, and you went up there full force. And so kind of let's walk through, you know, you're graduating high school.
Yep.
This is 2014?
2014.
Okay. And, you know, our stories kind of changed at that point. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do.
Right.
I was getting Chick-fil-A too often and not going to school.
Thinking about it, yeah.
And you knew exactly where you wanted to go.
Yeah.
And so how was your Berkeley experience? You know, how did it start? The people that taught you, kind of walk us through that.
Listen, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. Some of the best times of my life, meeting some of the greatest people of my life. Like, I wouldn't trade it. You know, I didn't finish something I wish to do one day, but the people that you met was just unbelievable. People from all walks of life around the world there for the same thing. The teachers wasn't just teaching, but they was about that life for real. You know, to be honest, like some teachers, man, you might see them there one semester. Next one, you might not. Because they on the road. You know what I'm saying? So it was a real deal. And some of the best years of my life.
Now, whenever you went, so you went in the fall, right?
Yeah, fall,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was your major? Did you ever declare
I did music business.
Music business, okay.
Well, it was called professional music, but I centered around music business. Yeah.
Who was your guitar teacher?
At that time, Jim Peterson. That was my professor.
Okay, cool,
yeah, my professor. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And did you ever stay in the dorms, or you didn't stay in the dorms?
I did that, man. Like, I don't even think one semester, man. It was just, I started out, but it was rough, man. Like, it was 3 of us in a room meant for 2 people. I don't even know how they managed to have that. Like, it was just unbelievable that they would set something up like that. And I want to say all 3 of us was guitar players.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not understanding why that was even a thought.
Yeah.
To have equipped, I couldn't do it.
And so, now I visited you up in Boston.
You did.
And, because, you know, I was kind of getting hip to the Berkeley thing at that point.
Yeah.
And when I came to see you, you were playing out and about. And so how did you kind of get, and still to this day, when I go around to Boston, I meet people, okay? And I say I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. And I kid you not, they go, do you know Willie Moore? And I'm like, do I?
Yeah, man.
So how did you get connected? You know, what was the kind of jumping off point for you from the Berkeley stuff into gigs? And
Well, for me, I started networking before I got there. So, just by the OGs, the cats around the city in Jacksonville that knew me, they knew that's where I wanted to go. So I was being introduced to people that was already there before I got there. So when I got there, it was like, hey, I know this cat that can kill. Like, so, you know, as they say, like, you take a sub gig, you kind of working your way in, and that's how it started. One sub gig, hey, this opportunity is open. One door after another, I should say, opened up. So it just started with, like I say, networking before I got there. I didn't wait till I got there. So I already knew people that were there before I got there. So when I got there, it was just like, hey, I got this gig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one person I really got a shout out is Sheldon Ferguson. At that time, he was there, graduated when I was there, but he put me on a lot. Like, I subbed for him, and that's how doors start opening up. Like, he's a dope, like, smooth jazz, guitarist, R&B, living in Atlanta right now, plays a lot of sessions and recording guitar. But that's how it happened for me. And, you know, your professionalism go a long way, man. Just learn the parts, kill the parts. You know, we got a saying, kill it, skin it, eat it, man. You know, you just gotta do it. Like, learn the parts, be on time, have your own swag, you know, and then just word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If it's good, it'll spread. Yeah.
It'll spread like a wildfire, man. So I remember one of the cats that Sheldon put me on, like, his name was Langston Theard at the time. And he's a major dude now, like, from Berkeley in music. He has music and movies and everything like that now. And I did a gig with him. Back then they used to have, I'm pretty sure they still have it, what's called calf shows.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, man, I did stuff with him, and then, you know, just one person after another. But then the gigs around town, I think, came from Sheldon as well. So, like, I had that one key person who was somebody that used to do gigs. But when you know you're somebody, when you get calls all the time, you can't do them all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's just how it all kind of happened. Like I say, by me being able to know a key person before I even got there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I just want, like, somebody out of my, you know, zone or nothing like that. But I was just blessed to, you know, be able to know somebody who was already in the area, who already built the name for himself. I already knew the places, you know what I'm saying? So doors was just opening up like that.
When the time was right,
yeah.
you came in.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that you just said there, that's so important for anybody that's thinking about going to Berkeley, or anybody that's, like, watching and thinking about trying to get into a live music scene. The thing that you just said there, I think, is the most important thing as far as, like, how to get into the live music scene, is it really is all about the sub work.
Oh, yeah.
You, just from the opportunity of getting called in to do a gig, it's that one gig. You do good there. The keyboard player knows somebody that needs another guitar player, and it goes on and on and
word of mouth,
and on. In this profession, there is not really, you don't have a resume where you're here you go. No. It's really all word of mouth.
And you got to be ready when that opportunity permits itself. You know what I'm saying? You got to know the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be ready. Keep your all black together. Keep your black and white together. Keep it ready.
Yep.
At all times. Keep your gear checked up, just like a car that need a tune up and need oil. You got to be ready to work. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, go to the rehearsal, kill the music, but bring your own style, swag, and vibe to it. That's one thing that they used to like about me the most. It was this style that was like they call it like a southern, I don't really, like a southern soul style that it just wasn't up there really. I mean, there was a style kind of like everybody was trying to duplicate, which, I mean, people still do today. And I love that sound too, but like this whole R&B, Isaiah Sharkey type vibe, you know, everybody. But like, that soul, that like, dog, he got something, you know. It was just different that I had, you know. And it's something that grabbed people's attention. It really is, you know, believe it or not. So, like, when you go to a place like up north,
they don't have that. It's
so
weird.
Yeah.
So weird. There is something down here. I don't know if it's in the water or what it is down here, but there is a southern kind of it's almost like a grit
Right,
in the
exactly,
playing. It's a little
exactly.
grittier
Yeah.
than like what they do up there.
Right. So, it grabs attention a little bit different,
Yeah.
know. So that in itself was like different, for my playing out for people, just like, man, he got something different.
So you're in Boston, you're playing out now. You're doing calf shows, at Berkeley. You're kind of getting connected in, and where is the next step for you? Obviously, at that point in time, I think I was about to go to Berkeley.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
where I don't know if you got disillusioned with Berkeley or you wanted to change, go on the road and actually play more music.
Yeah.
What was your next step like?
Well, I mean, for me, honestly, life just happened. Like, if it was left up to me, I probably would have wanted to stay. I'll never forget coming home one summer. I wanted to go back. Like I said, I moved out, wasn't staying on the dorms, was paying rent, that whole kind of thing. And I never forget my mom telling me this here. She said, if you just making enough money just to pay your rent, you really just barely making it and surviving. And I didn't go back after a summer. But I'll be honest, like that part of life for me was rough. It was discouraging. It was a rough part of my life because honestly, I felt embarrassed. I felt like a failure that I didn't finish school like I really wanted to. Like I didn't really want to tell people. Like for a long time, a lot of people didn't even know I was in Jacksonville. Like they thought I was just in Boston. I kind of like hid under a rock for like a long time. Like I didn't want to go nowhere, that whole type of thing. And but it took a while. It takes maturity, growth, and learning to understand that everything happens for a reason and it's a story in your book. If it wouldn't have happened, I mean, I can sit up and tell you this whole success story, but that's not how. I mean, don't get me wrong. For some people, that's life. Like either they ride off somebody else's coattail and like, their parents or their daddy or somebody had a name and they really don't have to work as hard. Sometimes life for some people, they catch a break, they catch a deal at an early age. I mean, but for me, sometimes I always believe a story is a lot interesting or a movie if it's like,
The
like
peaks and the
this,
valleys,
you know what I'm saying? So, but it takes maturity and growth. It took a long time for me to understand like every story, everything you go through in life is a chapter in your book. You know what I'm saying? So,
and there's some ugly parts.
Yeah.
It's
it builds endurance. It builds strength. So after that, it was just like, it took a while. You know what I'm saying? So that's just to be honest. I'm not gonna sit up and tell you, hey, I left because I got picked up and I went on the road. No, that's not necessarily the case. Just the God honest truth.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like there is low points in life that are not on Instagram.
Oh,
that are not on YouTube.
Yeah.
There are bills that have to be paid.
Absolutely.
There are struggles that mental health. Like there's shit that goes on.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to work through, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
And so you ended up back in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We interfaced then because I still hadn't gone to Berkeley, but I was planning to go to Berkeley.
Right.
Because I was in the low point while you were at Berkeley. I was trying to figure out my shit.
Right, trying to figure it out.
And we interfaced, and I remember you were playing. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Because you were, obviously always great, but you were exceptional. And so you came back to Jacksonville. And how did you put the story back together and kind of put the the train back on the tracks when you got to Jacksonville?
I mean, honestly, either in times like that, either you gonna fold or you gonna hang in there. You really only got two choices. You know what I'm saying? And I just had to make up in my mind, like, hey. Of course, I had to go to work because you gotta, no man got no business not having no money, So I needed to have money to be able to survive and do the things I needed to do. And so came back, ended up, working and everything like that, and playing in the church again and doing that a whole type of thing. But I remember putting on a couple shows here, doing that type of thing, and doing my own shows. I've always, especially at home, been the type to want to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so
And people want to hear that.
right.
Yeah.
And so putting together those shows and everything like that. But I didn't, it took some time to realize why everything happened. But, you know, when you start working and you get out there, you start working for somebody else. And, you know, I always been in the type that like to dress. So I the only jobs I really had was kind of like in a retail type of thing. But you learn how to shift all that in and intertwine it. So what I'm saying with that is retail is a lot of customer service. You learn how to deal with people, you know how to talk to people, you know how to deal with people being upset with you. But at the same time, it took a lot of years for me to realize how to flip that thing and turn everybody into a dollar. And when I say that, I mean I'm coming in contact with all these people. They don't know who I am, but it made me, I don't know if I want to use the word network, but I'm just going to say turn everybody into a dollar. Like, let them know who I really am and build a fan base through not just through music, but hey, check this out. This is what I do. This is really who I am. This is who you see, but nah, this is just what I do during the day. You know, that whole type of thing. So, you know, for me, it was just, you know, doing my thing around town, but working also, but actually working while I'm working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my goal, honestly, is every day to at least build one new fan. And you only do that by first, you know, you have to be hospitable and generous and genuine to people. Have a great personality. And people begin to like that. You build a relationship, you build rapport, you build trust, you know, and now you just got into somebody else's world. Now you bring them into your world. You know what I'm saying? And now I just been like, hey, I'll be honest with you. What I call is just connecting the dots. Using it till I don't need it no more. You know what I'm saying? And I just ride it out, man. You know, work, but that provides money for my family and also just for my music. You know what I'm saying? But it took a while. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, at that low point, you know, but it's like now I'm in go mode. I'm in full force mode, you know. And so, but it took a while, like I say, to see that. And because it was a time I really wasn't playing like that, because it was just like, man, you know, but you really had to
you dug
just see the
out.
opportunity. Yeah. In every situation, you know. So
I think that's such an important thing, because nobody talks about that shit.
No.
Especially online.
Yeah.
You got to sometimes dig yourself out of the shit you're in and kind of piece your life back together.
You got to,
and your soul's a little bit more beautiful on the out,
right?
But it takes some hard work.
Yeah, it do.
And so now you're at a place, you know, I know now you've got a tour that you're on. Yeah. And you're playing shows, you know, all around the East Coast here.
Right.
And how did all that get started? What's the band like? You know, is there plans to go even farther? You know.
So it started, man, when the pandemic hit, like, honestly, you know, and I knew right then and there the whole world had stopped. There was no shows. There was no nothing. And for artists and musicians and upcoming musicians and artists, if you didn't use your time wisely, you just lost it. You was behind, because that was the time to get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Because and it's still, we not 100%, but I knew there was going to come a time where the world was going to open back up.
The engine was going to start again.
And once it started back up, I mean, because people miss it.
Yeah, you damn sure better be running when it starts
you
back
better
up.
be ready.
Yeah.
And so I made up in my mind, I said, Zack Gibs, there's nothing wrong with playing other people's music, but I said, it's really time for the world to know who I am. I mean, you know, a couple people do here and there, but I said, I made up in my mind, I got to get me out there, work on some original music and start recording. That was on my goals for 2021. Work on my own music, building my own brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what I did. There's a place here in town I love to go eat. If anybody know me, they know it's a place called River and Post. I built a great relationship with them. I met every single person that I wanted to be on my team there, and I was honest with them. I said, hey, listen, I want to meet with you. Got some things I want to talk to you about and blah, blah, blah. And I met them there, and I was honest with them. I don't have much. But what I do know is I want you to be a part of what I got going on. Here's what I'm trying to do, X, Y, and Z. This is my plan. And just started connecting the dots, building the team. Didn't realize how much a team is so important. You can't do everything by yourself. And, got my PR together, got my management together, got, my drummer together that I told him. I said, listen, I want to work with you. You are the one I want to work with, and just building those parts that are, just important. And with that being said, just to answer your question even further, a lot of times we don't really take advantage of our resources. And I made up in my mind I was going to exhaust all my resources. And that and this little thing we keep in our hands so much called a cellular device. There are so many resources that we have. I'm talking about people that we can be in contact with, and you don't know who they are in contact with that can get you to where you want to be at. And man, I just started connecting the dots like, hey man, life hit me at some point, but this is what I'm trying to do. Any way you can help me, like, and closed mouths don't get fed. You don't know how somebody could help you if you don't say nothing. And I just start, connecting the dots, reaching out to my OGs that's in the music industry, that's already doing it. And they like, hey, boom, this is what you need to do. This is what I could do for you. You don't worry about this. You get this done. But I also had to do my part, So it's just it was just building those relationships, exhausting my resources, and actually doing the job. And what I learned, and I really wasn't thinking about it then because you just doing it. But now I realize you never can you can't take a day off. Because every day you take a day off, you get behind. You behind.
The current's gonna drag you back.
Yeah. You always behind. And so, man, that's pretty much how it became. Because I'm real consistent in Columbia, South Carolina, and throughout the Carolinas, and that's built off a relationship I already had. And that's what I mean by the resources, and. I was supposed to go to Dallas, Texas, but the storm messed that up, the whole Dallas-Fort Worth area. But hopefully I'll be back there this summer. But it's just exhausting those resources, putting it together, because as an independent artist, when I say independent, I mean independent. Most of everything come out my pocket. You just got to make it work. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, man, just getting everything together, making sure I have everything that I need, because you don't never want to be in a position where that opportunity is there and you're not ready.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to part. I mean, I had the vision, I had the goal. Now it's just like executing it. What was I gonna do to get it done? Ain't no sense in having a vision and a goal and I'm not doing my part.
Yeah.
So my part was to get the people around me that can help me get
build
this
team,
done. Build that team to get me and using those resources. So
I like that. So you really took the pandemic, which a lot of people, took as just a terrible thing and just kind of slept through it.
Right.
You took it and you decided to put the wheels back on the train and move. I think that's a great story. And now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this too. It's like, where do you see, I feel like the pandemic changed everything in music. Like, I don't know if everything's going to be the same, coming out of this. I think there's going to be some different, like, I remember going to a concert with Tomo Fujita right before the pandemic, like 2 weeks before lockdown happened. We saw Corey Wong. We were at this packed place in Boston. I forget what it was. And that vibe feels so different than where we're at now. In the live stream thing, there's such a different feel now about like where music's at, and who's really in the know. I would love to know, what do you think we're going to take away from this pandemic, that's here to stay? What are the new things that are going to be here to stay?
Well, musically, as you said, like the whole virtual experience, people are used to it now. I mean, people want to, because people was at home, everybody was home, they got a chance to really feel like they was close to you or intimate, that whole type of vibe. I think that's what people, they liked about that, because everybody was like, I mean, if they could just get some, because think about this. You have people, especially like retired people that's done working, that's into music. They live for music festivals. They do this stuff religiously, or like every year. They have these festivals that they go to, especially like jazz festivals all around. They buy VIP packages. This is their life. They travel to go see music. So now you got people that don't, they don't know what to do. So now the artists are like, not only are the fans missing it, but the artists miss playing too.
Yeah.
So like that's when people just started doing stuff in their living room, and they was like, oh shoot, so and so, Anthony Hamilton doing something live like Sunday night. Oh, I'm gonna make sure I be there. I mean, it was just, so that whole virtual thing is just, I mean, I feel like that's going to be one of the things now, but of course, people miss that whole live experience, but I just don't think the virtual thing is going to go anywhere, It's almost like you're going to have to do, sell tickets
Both.
for virtual. Yeah. So I think that's something that's going to become the new norm now. But
yeah, and I think people expect a higher quality experience now, nobody wants to see, something that's not of a good quality,
right.
because now, through the pandemic, people got their shit together, like at home. Everybody's got a background now at home. Everybody's got a SM7B.
Exactly, because you couldn't go nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to replace live music. I just think, like, I live streamed almost every day on Instagram through the whole pandemic.
Right.
Because I was here,
Right. What else could you do?
Yeah. And just very interesting to me, like, now that we're kind of hopefully at the tail end of this thing, and kind of going into a new place, it'll be interesting to see what we keep, the lessons that we take away from this whole pandemic.
Right.
know?
Yeah, I mean, either. I mean, but it was crazy though. Like, I mean, some people literally like lost their minds with like, but you really had to have your mind made up and have some peace through that pandemic, man, because it was just one of those things. But slowly but surely, festivals are starting to happen again.
Yeah,
people ready for it, man. Here I heard through the grapevine, Jacksonville Jazz Fest, I guess, gonna do a festival in October, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's happening slowly.
Yeah, I know here the rules are a little different, and that's the thing too. It's like it's not all everywhere is different. So now musicians are kind of playing this weird like, can I go here?
Yeah,
can I not go here?
Yeah.
It's very interesting. Sammy, you want to do something for me? Can you check that and turn that off for me? Yeah. While we're here again, first podcast, we're still getting everything. We're still getting everything straight here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I want to talk to you too about since I live in Boston and I live in Jacksonville, and I kind of do both. You can just put that back. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thanks, man. Sam Sherlin keeping us real over here.
Sam Sherlin, everybody.
Yeah, for real. So Boston, has some very different rules than Jacksonville does, and Texas obviously has different rules, and so everywhere's got these different rules. I think during the pandemic, I've never felt, and I wanted to bring this up with you, I've never felt like as a country we were more at like a place where everybody is just fucking angry. And when we went to high school, people were politically active, but I do not remember a time where, and maybe I was just ignorant, a time where I feel like everybody's angry. And there was so much that happened, throughout the pandemic. What do you think about how, southern states have handled the pandemic versus northern states? What is your opinion on like how everything's kind of gone down, and how do we bring people back together?
Well, I mean, it seemed like some places were a little bit more lax versus some places that were it was important to them. You know, some people thought that it wasn't, a real thing. Some people thought it was a real thing. But it all comes down to one of those things where I think for everybody, until it really affected you or a person that's close to you, you didn't really understand how real it was. You know what I'm saying? You call it what you want to call it and take it how you want to take it. But until it affected you, sadly, that's when it really... But then it's almost at that point it's too late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I think, it's kind of crazy because when you think about it, I don't think nothing ever, well, at least since I've been alive, I'm not talking about shut the country down. I'm talking about the whole world.
Yeah.
I'm talking about other countries.
The craziest thing ever. Yeah.
Stopped.
Yeah.
Never seen nothing like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how, other than just everybody loving each other, just like that pandemic shut the whole world down. Just everybody loving each other, bringing the whole world back to unity again. Now, that sounds like too good to be, true. But that's what I feel like. It's when you love your neighbor as you love yourself. First of all, you got to love your own self. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think a lot of people, throughout the pandemic, not to interrupt you, but that's a good point. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people, you looked at themselves, you get in a rat race in life and you do things every day and you just go, you're on autopilot.
Right.
You're not even awake.
Right.
And then I think in the pandemic, people got a chance to like stop for a second, work at home, look at themselves in the mirror and go, I don't even like me.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe that had something to do with the hate there.
But one thing about it, two things for sure. This statement has never been a lie, that music brings all colors together. If it's one thing that brings everybody together, it's music. It's no doubt about it.
I believe that more today. Like, I think growing up, if you would have said that, I'd been like, yeah, I know, but like, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I believe that so much more today. Like, I think the world needs like another Woodstock moment of like great music revival, where everybody kind of goes and like, I don't care what you did. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're going to have to move on and live on this chunk of land together.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And you said something. Well, I think when I mentioned, also another thing I thought about when I said, music brings everybody together. No, let me say this other phrase. Music is a universal language. Let me say it that way. I learned that to be true when I was at Berkeley, man. Like, just meeting people from everywhere that couldn't even speak good English sometimes, but they would know what a Marvin Gaye joint was. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Meet somebody from Brazil, but they know what you know what I'm saying?
Aretha Franklin. Yeah.
And that really taught me something for real. You know what I'm saying? But it's just one of those things. It's like, I don't know, other than everybody loving each other, like how I mean, it took some people out of a believer to go through a bad experience to get to a good experience. But, just bringing everybody back together, man, it's just like one of those things. And all we can do as artists is do our best to do our part to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Part of why I'm doing this is because I know this to be a fact. Since I live in both places, and most of the pandemic I spent here in Florida, because it's warm and, it's a nice place to be. But I have this thing now where I see different regions in America really closing off. Being, if you don't agree with the certain think tank that they're in, we're shutting you off. We don't want to hear any other ideas especially in college. And I agree with a lot of these ideas, but that's very sad to me because I feel like we're slowly all running away into our own little places.
Right.
And, not really having the conversations that we need to have and the compromises that need to be made.
There you go, compromise. There you go.
Because I don't think people realize, like, whether you're on the left or the right or whatever the hell you are, that the country's never going to be one or the other.
Exactly.
It's always going to be both sides fighting it out.
Right,
It's always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're going to have to learn, to do better, but, we're going to have to learn to get along.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we do that. I have this feeling I think we do that better here in Jacksonville. I have to say. You say you're like,
I mean,
would you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. The only reason I was gonna say why I feel like that is like people say, what do they call it? Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought you were about to be like, no, what the hell are you talking about?
No. I just feel like, I mean, you said a keyword, compromise. I mean, there are people that have their, their bias and everything like that here, but
for sure.
I mean, I haven't been up there and been back and forth as much as you have, so you would know better than I do, about the different from up north and down here. But I first thing I thought about is like, how people say we're much nicer here, that whole Southern hospitality thing. That's the first thing that pop up in my mind.
Yeah, I just feel like I think there's something going on with college right now, where in schools and in even workplaces, where there's this thing where everybody's now has to conform to a certain idea, and we're all going to stick to it. And it's on both sides. And it scares me because I'm on neither. Like I'm somewhere in the middle, like, oh shit, who do I pick?
Right.
What boat am I going to get on here?
Right.
And it really concerns me because, growing up, like you and I, we just believe in music. Like we want to bring people together.
Right.
To get everybody together. I want to get, the old white lady, I want to get everybody together.
Exactly.
And the school that we went to, like I'm so fortunate now to think about that because like there was so many races and people, so many different cultures blended in, at DA.
Sure.
That really like allowed us to do that.
Sure.
And so that's really been like troubling me as part of why I started this is like I want to talk to people. I want to do my little part of like how do we solve how do we solve some of the issues,
Well, what you do, you do it through music. Music heals. It's no doubt about that. Music speaks, and what you do, you create music, and that's how I feel. That's what we are created to do. Not only are we created, but we are creators. You know what I'm saying? So we can't just talk about it, but we have to express it. And where we express it is through our music. That's our book. That's how we talk. That's our language. You know what I'm saying? So you write a song about it. You write. That's why Marvin Gaye wrote What's Going On.
Yeah.
It's because he wanted to know about the police brutality, the racism, this, that, and the third.
And that song is still, like, you could listen to that day and go, that still applies.
Yeah, still applies, you know? And so...
which is sad, It's,
but it's true. You know what I'm saying? So our job is to express what we're saying right now through music. That's how we preach it, but we gotta, we gotta live what we preach. You know what I'm saying? We express it through our music, and if we feel in some type of way, that's where we bring it out. So that's my whole thing about it. But I just, what I do know is we as artists do want people to play to. So whether they dying because of a virus or getting killed, that ain't a good thing. So either way, we want people to live. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing about it. However you view any opinion, we want you to live. That's the main thing. At least that's the way I see it. Yeah,
and we want. There's nothing more powerful than going to a concert and you see, a bunch of different people who wouldn't hang out normally.
Yeah,
at a concert together.
Mm-hmm.
Really jamming to music and hanging out.
For sure. So that's how you do it. I think that's the answer for us as creators. You do it through music because that's what we know how to do.
Yeah. And I have this thing too where I'm trying to be a little bit more understanding with people who I don't agree with. Like, growing up, I wasn't the best with people I didn't agree with. I think I used to call Sammy Switzerland. I used to be like, stop being a Switzerland. You're always just taking both sides. Take my side or shut up. But, I feel like people cope in different ways, even with the virus. Like the virus is a great example. Like people cope in different ways. And so some people's coping strategy is like, I don't even believe in any, like they can't even take it. Like they can't even process it in their head. And some people, that's all they can do, and they can't look at anything else and kind of balance.
Right.
And so I'm starting to feel like I just need to be more understanding to everybody, and kind of be like, all right, let's all just get along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all about you said a key word, man, and I can't get away from it. Compromise.
That's
hard to do though.
Because it doesn't feel great. Yeah.
But that's the key. You said one word for the whole night. I think that's the key to everything. Learning how to compromise.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done.
Exactly. In everything.
Yeah, in everything.
Yeah.
But that's the key to it. One word, compromise.
So let's talk about one more thing before. I would love to play with you too, but let's talk about one more thing. Let's talk about, I know you've been in the studio lately, and you've been working on new music. And what's kind of your vision and your goal here? You were talking about, it's fun to play covers, but now I want to play my own music.
So, man, I really, if you had to ask me what kind of style do I play, man, it's kind of crazy because I don't want to be put in a box, and I don't feel like I can be put in a box. But people would like to say I'm a jazz guitarist, man, but I almost feel like I'm not just jazz.
I agree.
I could play a little bit of blues. I could play R&B. So I'm kind of like a hybrid, man, and I just want to do my thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just want the world to hear my style and my vibe, and I catch myself. A lot of times I'm like, I need to play this guitar for a warmer sound. This that jazz sound, the F holes, my big hollow body. But I'm like, man, it's cool. It is. But a lot of times I'm in the studio. I'm like, why can't I be me? Because that's how the John Schofields got created. Tone, uniqueness, them being they self.
Yeah.
And, and so for me, it's just been like discovering myself and letting the world hear, me. And in the next week or so, I'll be releasing a cover, the What's Going On cover. But then I have my original single, which we're gonna keep easing it out. A single which will be in May. But it's just been that fact of this what the world needs to hear. Like, where I could swing this way, I could swing that way. But it's like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing from my soul. I'm praying from my heart. I'm giving you what's down in me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing for me. That whole journey and that process for me is it's been unique because you can find yourself trying to stick to this like structure. Oh, this is what it's supposed to sound like. Oh, and I remember the first time, like, man, I'm a hold back and be conservative. And I remember one of my OGs, he was like, man, no. Like, I can hear you thinking in your playing. Don't think about it. Give them you. Let them know who you are. And so that's what I've been trying to more like just not hold back, not try to sound like this person or that person, but be me, be unique. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that process has been like for me, man. It's been different. I mean, you always are going to be, I feel like, hard on yourself. And like for me, just the whole recording process, because I'm used to, there are certain cats that are just session players.
Yeah.
But that has never been me.
Me neither. Yeah.
I always been a live guy.
Yeah.
So me playing in a studio and like that whole type of thing, like I done listened to myself so many times, like on mixes, I'm like, I can't take it no more.
Solo 136.
Yeah, I can't take it no more. Like master it. Let's put it out. Like, let's see what the world think about it. It's not, and that's the thing. Once it's done, it's really not up to you. Like, I mean, you making it for other people to hear. Mm-hmm. I mean, no, what's the point of creating it? You just gonna listen to it 100 times. But that's the the hard part. Like, do I like this? Do I not? Does this need to be turned up? Did I do enough here? Do I want to take this out? But it gets to a point, it's like, I need to let somebody else listen to this.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part, too. A lot of times I like to, man, I got something I want you to listen to, but I tell people, I don't even tell them it's me. I just want to see what their reaction going to be, So what you think about that? Is that you? I asked you what question. What did you think about that?
That's good.
Yeah, like, I like, that's what I like to see, people's reaction, man. Make people feel good. And they like, I'm vibing, man, or, my whole thing is just to bring that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think about, man. I wonder if they gonna like this. I'm always thinking about the people, but I'm playing from my heart, man. So I'm just excited. I'm excited about it, because like, one thing I think about, like we were saying, music is the universal language. I'm excited about like how far it's gonna go.
Yeah,
like
how
people
many
in the UK will hear,
Mm-hmm.
like, and Tokyo and stuff like that. Because I mean, once it's out, it's out. It's out to the world. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, is it going to be an album? Are you
eventually?
Okay.
Well, let me take that back. Not a full album, more so like an EP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. And the big thing too that you just excel at, like, if nobody's caught one of your shows, I mean, you got to go, because you put on such a great show, and your stage, your presence on stage. What I love that you do is you can talk to an audience.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing worse than going to see a show and the music's great.
Yeah.
And somebody gets on the mic.
Right. Yeah, you got to be relate. Yeah.
Yeah. So plans now to kind of expand the markets. You got the Carolinas going on. You got Florida.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah, exactly.
You talking about Texas?
Yeah. So Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth area. I'm hopefully trying to get there probably by July.
Yeah.
And I was trying to hit there in Chicago this summer, but it's just, like you say, the pandemic. Because the last time I was checking, this was way back, though. Can't say way back, a couple months ago. They was saying, I talked to somebody, like, their capacity was like, I don't know if it was 50 people.
Yeah.
And, like, a
that,
curfew.
Yeah.
Everybody, it was just rough. Like, so I'm hoping, like, by the summer, it'll be a little different.
Hopefully more people get vaccinated.
Yeah. So things will be different. Yeah. So it's just continue to hit these dates. Like in Jacksonville, I try to keep it spread it out. Maybe like once a quarter. So yeah, I'll be here in June 7th.
Where at here in Jacksonville, June 7th?
At the EXO Premier Lounge.
Okay.
That's June 7th. Then Memorial Day weekend, I'll be in Columbia, South Carolina. That's the 28th, I believe, through the 30th. That weekend,
cool,
yeah, Memorial Day weekend. So I go there, Columbia, South Carolina. Then
those are full band shows.
Well, yeah, if I go normally, I play with a band, maybe a house band in the area, but here, yeah, always gonna be full band.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's that vibe. I don't know if you're a little bit different than me. You kind of swing like some acoustic, some but. For me, that band brings that vibe, that kick, that energy, and those are the shows, how my shows are normally like, produced for that vibe, that kick, the energy. I'm all about energy and vibe, you know what I'm saying? But there may be a section in that show where I just break it down and it's intimate, but I don't do too many, solo things, but yeah, I'll be pretty much full band joints. So
that's awesome. I want you to come to Boston.
Oh yeah, man.
That would be
amazing. I just got hit up today, and it was like, man, when you coming back up north? I'm like, bro, like honestly, it's hard for me to, cause I enjoy Boston so much, but I didn't want to come up there, and it was like a curfew and that whole type of thing.
Right? Yeah. At the moment when we're filming this right now, I think you can have live music. You cannot sing indoors, and you can't play horns indoors.
Oh wow!
So the rest of the band can come and get paid,
crazy.
But singers, you're screwed, and horn players, you're screwed, even if you're vaccinated. Which hopefully,
see, that's what I'm saying. See, I thought, man, I want to come when everything is, you know what I'm saying, because that's what I'm used to.
Yeah,
I'm not used to seeing that. You know what I'm saying?
You would be very. you would be very surprised. It's a weird feeling, you know. I was just in New York not too long ago too, and it's very interesting. You know?
Yeah. See, that's my whole thing. But
I'm hoping.
Luckily, I mean, by us playing the guitar, we can get away with it. But far as the whole crowd interaction type thing, you know.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, again, people can get. I'm getting my second dose of the vaccine. I think in a week.
Yeah.
Now, so hopefully people can.
Because I mean, that for us, for me, like that whole thing is important. Some singing and some horns. Come on, man. You can't do the whole Curtis Mayfield without that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The last thing I want to talk to you about is actually the vocals, because you're actually a great singer. And so I'm wondering if we're gonna get a Willie Moore single. It's original with some vocals on it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have one with some vocals on it. But the one that's about to come out, it probably won't have some. But we on that EP, we gotta have some vocals on that. We got to, because I mean, I want to be able to give all of who I am in that experience. You know what I'm saying? So.
And you have like a great voice, like you can sing, and so that's I love that.
Plus. Yeah, it's always a plus. But honestly, I always call myself a guitarist before a singer. But I do it. And what I always do, if I'm doing a cover, man, it may not be exactly how that person sings it. I have to put my style to it. Because I'm not finna try to sing something out my range either. Mm-hmm. But the way I do it, I'm gonna put my swag on it. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I've kind of grown to love now. Is like God gave everybody a voice.
Yeah.
And what I love is like whenever you sing a song, if it's not in your range, you'll reshape the melody. You'll redraw the melody to fit you, and now it's your own thing.
There you go.
That's such a beautiful. I used to hate that about my voice.
Yeah.
But now I kind of appreciate okay, well I'm just me.
Right. Just move it down a little bit or whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And just make it your own, make it your own style. Have fun with it. So, but man, of course, we got to put some, because here's one of the main reasons. There are people that don't know that I sing. They be like, man, I ain't know you singing, but so that's why we got to do that, man,
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, I mean, that's going to be a kick-ass record or an EP and
oh yeah.
You have What's Going On? It's coming out first.
Yeah. That's coming out first. Real soon.
Okay.
Hopefully within the next week. So we putting up the finishing touches on that, and of course that'll be on all digital platforms. Wherever you listen to your music at. Perfect. That's gonna be a vibe for real. So
yeah, a great song. It's right for the timing, I think.
Perfect.
Here in what's going on in our world, because what the hell is going on?
That's the real question.
But that's great, man. And the summer, you're just gonna be playing shows.
Yeah, man. We're just gonna be doing, because that's the thing. You drop those singles, push that, keep, because you gotta keep building a fan base, a following, and they gotta hear this music. So you can't do it without spreading the love and spreading the music. And that's the fun part. It could get tiresome being on the road, but I enjoy it. But you get a chance to meet people everywhere and build a following. Mm-hmm. So that's how the music gets out. So yeah, we gotta keep doing that. Of course, I'm gonna be on the road. So we got stuff all the way up to December.
Awesome.
And then it's time to flip it again. Get ready for the next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can just keep expanding those markets and pushing it even farther west and kind of just keep moving. But yeah, hopefully I can catch a show. I'll be back here sometime in the summer.
Oh, yeah.
I want to catch a show.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Always.
I can't believe it's been almost 2 years since I've seen you.
It's been a minute.
It's crazy.
It's been a minute.
Always dressed to the T.
man,
so thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
I wanted you to be my first guest because we
I'm
go way
honored.
back.
Way back, like a Cadillac.
I'm like, you gotta be my first guest.
Yeah.
And man. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. I'm honored.
How can people find you?
Man, listen, you can find me on Instagram at Willie A Moore 3. That's WillieAMoore3. Facebook, that is facebook.com/Willie A Moore 3 Music. WillieAMoore, the number 3 and music. Twitter is the same as my Instagram, at Willie A Moore 3, WILLIE AMOORE 3.
Perfect, man. Awesome.
Yeah,
well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Let's play some music.
Let's do it, Zack.
And let's call it, man. Thank you.
On Zack Gibbs.
All right.